Hello and welcome back to Elite Geospatial, and today we're going to be handling domains and subtypes. So, what do we understand by domains and subtypes? Domains and subtypes are components of future layers and future classes that can be used to constrain or define fields in your datasets. ArcGIS Insights support using dataset and field that have a domain or subtypes defined. Domains itself now. What is domain? Domains are used to describe the value accepted in a field. Only values or ranges of values that have been deemed valid can be used as input in a field where a domain is applied. Therefore, domains are an important resource for maintaining data integrity, especially when data is being collected in the field by many workers. Now, basically, there are two types of domain that can be assigned to a field. Now, the coded value domain and the range domain. Coded value domains. Coded value domains specify a valid set of values that can be used in the field. A coded value domain consists of codes that will be saved in the dataset and user-friendly description that can correspond to each code. Similar to a reference table, for example, an electrical utility provide a map of outages. To maintain consistent information and style on the map, the status field has a domain applied with accepted status value. The following table is an example of the code and description that could be applied to the status field. Now, code A, description, out of service. Code B, dispatched. Code C, planned outage. Now, with this, you could easily, instead of typing anyway, you just select. It creates more like a drop-down box for those who have used GUI before, graphic user interface. You can actually create a drop-down. Most of the software we use has like a drop-down. So this drop-down will help you to just select out, maybe if it is code A, which is out of service, you just make a selection. If it's code B, dispatch, and all that. So domains actually helped in making your feel like it does not accept anything that is not within that range. That's why we have the coded, which is either it is 1, 2, 3, depending on the code you assign to it, or A, B, C, depending on the code you assign to it. All right. I hope this is the theoretical part of it, but I believe with a few minutes of practical we'll decipher this. All right. So just follow me and let's ride on. Now the range domains. Range domains are available for numbers and dates and specify the minimum and maximum values accepted in the field. Data entries outside the range will not be accepted in the field. For example, a public works department must do annual inspection for all the fire hydrants in the city. The normal pressure range for the hydrant is between 50 and 120 PSC. A range domain can be created with a minimum value of 50 and a maximum value of 120. Now, the domain can then be applied to the pressure field, so only values within that range can be entered. Any value outside 50 and 120 can't be entered. It's more like a constraint. If you read from the very paragraph, it's a constraint we apply to data. Okay, it's between this and this, or within this type and that type. So any hardware that do not have pressure values in that range will fail the inspection. Now that has helped you. Instead of okay just putting different things, now it has helped. This is the acceptance value between 50 and 120. So any value that is not within this has failed the inspection. Any value within this has passed the inspection. Subtypes. Now we established from introduction that the domain and the subtypes are components that are interchangeably but very important to each other. So what is now this subtypes itself? Subtypes are a set of features that share the same attributes. Each subtype is defined to provide other fields with the correct attribute information, including domain and default values. Subtypes are most useful in situations in which the attributes in your data are linked to other attributes. For example, street subtype could include residential, arterial, and highway. Each of these subtypes could also have an associated default speed limit. So basically, subtypes are like you're trying to more like a categorization. You try to like categorize it such that okay, roads now we have major roads, minor road, highway, artillery, residential, and all that. Now on the resident in the streets subtypes now we have residential, arterial, and highways. So basically, these two things helps us to understand more of our data in ArcGIS. Now, the ArcGIS Desktop has a way of performing it, while the ArcGIS Pro has another way of performing it. So we will look at the two of them practically so that I believe you understand more from what we just did, the theoretical aspect. But let's look at the case study we have here. A database table with city on water pipes has a type field that accepts two subtypes. Two subtypes. Now, don't forget when we say subtype, we categorize things under it. Now, these two subtypes are main and service pipe. Each subtype defines a set of rules for the material field and the diameter. The status field has a separate domain that is not linked to either subtypes. So this is a case study, but we may not use this very specific case study for our practical. I will use a more realistic and related terms to geomatics geomatics, so that it will, because when we talk of electrical appliance, these are more terms that we may not really see its applicability in geomatics. So I'm going to use a more realistic, but basically this is an example of how subtypes and domain can be applied. Now, I just wanted to have an insight of where you understand this theory, not that we just learn the software without the shiri behind them. All right. So this is just a little thing I put together. This is from the S3 site. This is a reference that I picked from them. This article is in their website. You could go through it and have a better understanding. So I'm going to have a practical session demonstrating subtypes and also demonstrate domain. So watch out for the next two videos that will come out for the continuation of this lecture. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, recommend this channel to another person, and keep watching LI Geospatial.